from Trainwizard. I'm Michael, your host. Most of the time, you might choose a nice sunny spring or fall day with temperatures averaging in the 60s or 70s to have the best photography and railfanning experience. On such nice days, the worst that could possibly happen to you is waiting for the train with your sunny settings, but as soon as the train approaches, at the last second a cloud blocks the sun, making the picture appear dark, as seen here. Other than that, it's pretty much a really awesome day. But then there's the less preferred gloomy day. It's dark, gray, chilly, and wet all day. It's pretty good for rainy streetscapes, but it's not good enough for what we will discuss today. I like to go out in weather that would make most people cancel their plans and stay indoors. The beauty in that being that I can get some shots and videos that few other people would want to do, let alone be able to do without risk, as nature throws curveballs such as strong winds, lightning strikes, flash floods, whiteout snowstorms, etc., disrupting transportation services and your photo itinerary. And I don't recommend trying this at home without careful planning and protection. I hate the cold. I really hate the cold. Wind chills go through me like X-rays. It chills me to the bone. After all, I am a slender fellow. I hate extreme heat too, but if I was presented an extreme weather ultimatum, I would choose the heat. Cold weather hasn't kept me in though. I do like Photoshop and add layers. I seem to get some of the best pictures when it's cold, especially telephoto shots, since there's little heat distortion. Keep that in mind for later. This photo is of a freight train with Union Pacific and Canadian Pacific Power passing Olney Station on the CSX Trenton line, sharing the trackbed with SEPTA's Fox Chase line on a frigid day in February 2015 with air temperatures of 1 degree Fahrenheit and wind chills as low as 12 degrees below zero. Only a few other things would bring me outside in such cold, if at all. We will discuss the sun and the moon juxtaposed over leading lines or landmarks in a future video. But in the winter, on the coldest of days, Philly has some of the best sunsets. Snowstorms are relatively much warmer most of the time, with temperatures just below freezing on most days in Philadelphia. I can comfortably take a full outdoor snow photography day trip as long as the rails are clear to keep trains running. My favorite time to go is during the snowfall itself, for that snow globe look in my photography and videography, making perfect postcard material for the holidays. Snowflakes are larger when it's in the 20s and 30s versus when it's in the teens. My next favorite is after the storm a few hours later, or the next day, when trains kick all that wind-blown snow up, leaving a tail of snow behind it. My favorite perfect storm railfan spree was 5 years ago, on March 14th and 15th, 2017, during Snowstorm Stella. When it snowed for 2 days, here are a few shots from day one. On day 2, I went outside the city to see some snowy scenes. My channel's profile picture is from that day, where SEPTA's Great Valley Flyer passes the curve near Berwyn Station in Berwyn, Pennsylvania, with the AEM-7 engine that is now retired. Here are a few more shots from Berwyn Station. The heavier the rainfall, the better. I want my viewers to see the wetness coming from the sky. Light rain on gloomy days isn't enough because the rain is barely visible and you still get wet for nothing. I like it torrential. Pantographs on the northeast corridor will spray water off the catenary wire at high speeds, making for some nice pictures and videos. Buses and traffic splashing in rain are fun to capture too. Just don't get caught in a drive-by baptism. If you go out in a storm, make sure you have a safe spot nearby to escape to before choosing your location. Don't wait until the last second if it looks like you or your gear's safety is compromised. Storms are faster than you. Along with heavy rain, thunderstorms offer so many beautiful photo opportunities. I have gone out in an attempt to safely get lightning with a train, failing to get a picture for several years. But finally in 2018, I got one during a long exposure in Norristown. The regional rail train was stopped at Main Street Station and I was on the Erie Street overpass, completely exposed to the elements. It didn't rain when I took this shot, but when it did, my safe spot was the covered walkway on the other side of the overpass. I was excited that I finally got a shot. Continuous nighttime long exposures of several seconds or more are the best settings for lightning, but there are infrared lightning triggers that you can buy for your camera for fast, daytime storm shots, which I have yet to invest in. Thunderstorms offer some unreal cloud formations, which look even better when the sun is low. Here are some shots taken with some of the craziest and most beautiful cloud backdrops. After the storm is over, you may also get a colorful rainbow to brighten up your shots. Due to the hustle and bustle of everyday life, and the fact that most summer storms in the Philly area happen during the evening rush, most rainbows, sunset cloudscapes, and other vivid atmospheric phenomena are photographed over retail parking lots, usually greeting people who shopped or worked indoors during the storm. Often they appear during the commute. I love being caught off guard by nature in a pleasant, eye-pleasing way. I have an extensive collection of bad weather commute transit photography at Olney and Fern Rock transportation centers. I can tolerate heat better than sub-zero conditions, but I absolutely loathe the effects of that greenhouse gas that makes air feel so much hotter and stickier. That greenhouse gas being water in vapor form, aka humidity. When it's over 95 degrees and humid, like in the fourth weekend of July 2022 in Philadelphia, the heat index can easily exceed 110 degrees. The air feels like hot butter in a supercritical gaseous state, even in the shade. Everything stinks, mosquitoes drown to death in your forehead sweat, and the humidity sticks to your skin like wet saran wrap in a hot car. Check out the heat distortion on the deep telephotos. The heat distortion is usually pretty cool to play with, but they can sometimes mess up a deep telephoto shot with small details, like number boards or signs. This is why I mentioned before that I get a lot of my best and sharpest shots in colder weather. Dry heat, on the other hand, is easier for me to deal with. Instead of the humidity, I am left to the mercy of the sun itself. In September 2020, I explored Phoenix, Arizona, with an air temperature of 104 degrees Fahrenheit. The rays from the sun hit me like a laser, with reflected heat from the ground baking me like skinny rotisserie, but it was not humid. I could stand in the shade and it would feel 20 degrees cooler, but even in the sun, it was more bearable for walking around. 104 degrees in Phoenix feels much better to me than 90 degrees in Philadelphia. This is entirely subjective. Your experience in this heat might vary. I still drank lots of water, and I recommend you do too. That day in Phoenix was not even the hottest temperature I went railfanning in. The record would be met the following week in the Chatsworth neighborhood of Los Angeles, in the west corner of the sauna known as the San Fernando Valley. I took these Metrolink shots in a sweltering 106-degree temperature. Half an hour later, that same day in the same heat, I took these shots at Northridge Station, also in the San Fernando Valley. If it was more humid at 106 degrees, the trash trucks in the distance would stink up the place. Indeed, Los Angeles would probably be a smellier place, and I would not consider walking outside to drown in that humidity. But not so here, at least on this day. Fog is included in this extreme weather collection because it can still be quite hazardous for travelers, especially pilots. Thick fog and low visibility are some incredible conditions for pictures. Often it's seen in the early mornings, but on some cases fog lasts all day. Valleys are good for fog accumulation, so I chose Huntington Valley. Here at Philmont Station in 2018, the train appears out of almost nowhere. Fog gives my pictures a spooky and mysterious mood, both by day and night, reminiscent of Silent Hill. Plan carefully, stay safe, and be responsible when taking pictures in bad weather. Stay tuned by subscribing to me, Trainwizard, and also leave me your feedback in the comments. If you wish to support my channel, consider joining as my patron on Patreon. Link in the description.